Today is Father's Day, and I felt a little compelled to make a little message about Father's Day and what I consider to be positive masculinity in today's society. A lot of times these days, whenever you hear any talk about masculinity, it's always preceded by the word toxic. And it's really just a shame for young men these days that that's the way it is. But when it comes to Father's Day, I feel like it's really important that we celebrate good masculine fathers that are actually dads. And because when it comes to being a father doesn't equal being a dad. Because when it comes down to it, being a father is the act of, conceiving a baby. Whereas being a dad is actually something that takes a lot of effort. And in many ways, I feel like the role of being a dad has actually changed also. I feel like whenever I grew up, and especially when you go to the generations before mine, you kind of had this picture of a dad that would go to work and then come home, maybe do a couple things, and then sit on the couch and then wake up and do it again the next day. Whereas the female figure, the mother, was more of the caretaker, often home with the kids more involved with the kids. And I feel like that's changed in a lot of ways for the better for dads. And that's because men out there are expected to go to games, do things with their kids, play with their kids. You're not just some lump on the couch drinking beer all the time. And I think this is a really important distinction, because if you think to most kids, you don't really sit around and think of your childhood and wish your dad would have worked more or made more money, but those core memories that you have are maybe wishing your dad had been at that special baseball game where you hit a home run, or for a young girl, missing a dance recital or whatever it may be, but you just wanted your parents to be there and be there for you. So that's a really big change when it comes to expectations as far as dads go. And nowadays in most homes you have both parents that are working. You've got a really hectic lifestyle as we all chase the things that the world tells us that we want and or need. We're told we need these big lavish houses, crazy vacations, but when it comes to your childhood, I want you to really think back and be honest with yourself. What would you have changed about your relationship with your parents growing up? Mention that in the comments below if you want to share with the conversation. But for most people, I would say that it's those things like being at more things, doing more things together, and that kind of stuff. And a lot of that is what drove me to make a big career change with my life so that I could have more quality time with my kids, and so I wouldn't have to miss out on all those key things. And the world tells us to be selfish, to do everything that makes you feel good, to chase the money and the clout and all of that. And I'm just here to tell you that that's all just going to leave you feeling empty. We really owe our families and our kids more than coming home from work and being a lump on the couch drinking beer and being lazy. And it's also more than just going out in the garage and working on a car by yourself or something like that. We owe it to our families to be a leader of our families, a leader as men. Show them what a strong, good, masculine man is. Being in the military taught me some great things about leadership. And one of those key things is that being a leader is actually an act of service. You are actually in a servant leadership position where you are serving those that are below you. It's not for them to worship you or anything like that. It's more so that you're there to serve them and be the best leader that they deserve. And that's really what we owe a lot of our families. And I think that's where this gets a bad rap a lot of times. Being a leader is often seen as being like a dictator or a ruler, ordering people around and telling them what to do. And that's just not true leadership with empathy and compassion and the key things that will really strive people to follow you. And so in a lot of ways, I feel like it's up to us now as modern men to show and demonstrate what being a good masculine man is like. So we might ask ourselves, what can we do? In a lot of ways, it feels like being a man is under attack in today's society, and it's often seen as something that's negative. So what can we do as men to change this moving forward? And I think the first thing is to actually embody those traits. Be a good masculine man. So that's where it leads me to the Bible to see some examples here. So in 2 Samuel, this verse reads, I will be a father to him, and he'll be a son to me. When he does wrong, I'll discipline him in the usual ways, the pitfalls and obstacles of this mortal life. But I'll never remove my gracious love from him. I think it's important that we show our kids that the world is a difficult place. It's not going to be easy, but as they go through this life and they struggle, that we will always love them and care for them no matter what. And we can be a father, a protector, a leader for our families. I think it's pretty obvious from my channel. I love the outdoors. I love sharing that with my kids and with my family. And it's one of those things that I like to do to spend quality time with my kids. You know, whenever I started getting into endurance sports, it was because I felt like I wasn't being a good example to my kids of what a good man is like, because I didn't take care of myself physically. And that leaks over into not only your stature and everything like that, but it also leaks over into your mental fortitude and how strong you are mentally. And overall, I just wanted to be a better example to my kids. So I started working out, I started challenging myself, and overall I wanted to show my kids that it's important to appreciate the body that God has given us and take the best care of it we can. And then also I wanted to show them that, like, no matter what, we work hard, we keep working hard. When we fall down, we get back up, and we never give up. We keep moving forward, and we never give up. Because in this life, you're going to face many trials, and there's a lot of aspects of life that just aren't fair. I mean, there are things that happen every day that aren't fair and just in our eyes. And that's where it brings me to another verse and why I got this tattoo here on my forearm that says endure and has some Bible verses with it. So let me share one of those with you guys. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So when we do things that test us and push us past our limits, we're actually developing perseverance within ourselves. And I think that's good to show your kids that you have to keep moving, you have to endure. And overall, as men, I think it's up to us to change what it means to be a good masculine man, a good father, and a good dad. So if you're out there and you are a father on this Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you. And if you haven't done it yet today, let your kids know that you love them, that you love them unconditionally, but also show them that by showing up, going to games, being there for them, talking to them, mentoring them, having those hard discussions with them, even when it's not easy as a dad to do so. And that's how we can lead as positive, good male role models for our kids. And just like you guys, I'm not perfect. I mess up, we all mess up, and you know what? We have to get up, dust ourselves off, and try to be better tomorrow. You don't have to be perfect to be a good dad.